Hi, this is Dennis Wing with Guitar Lessons Ithaca. So I have a question for guitarists. Can you or have you ever played a song that you didn't know, never heard before, and you played it on the fly in front of people? All right? And if not, can you do that? Do you think you can learn to do that? The answer is yes, you can definitely learn to do that. Now, recently, I was doing a wedding that happened to be video recorded, and I'm going to share screen, and I'm going to actually get inside the mind of me at that moment playing a song I never heard before, okay? And hopefully to inspire you to work on your ear training and to show you a little more tips and tricks that can benefit you from doing that. For doing that, okay. So the bass player at this point told me that he is going to do a song by T-Bone Walker, whom I know very little about, except that he was a blues guitarist, like an innovative one from like the 40s and 50s. That's pretty much all I know at this point. And he told me that the song's in the key of G. He referred to it as a blues song, but then right before we start, he says it's not really a blues form. So that's all I know at this point. And then watch what happens, and I'm going to comment on what happens. I'm going to sort of narrate, and so here we go. Watch this, and then you'll see what's going on. Just making sure I'm sharing sound. Here we go. So of course he sets it up, and I'm mimicking the tempo, and he leans to me and says, "Not too fast." But so far, I don't know what's coming. I don't know any chord changes. So here we go. Okay, right there is the critical moment. It took me. I came in on the end of 4, like, you love me, dun, dun. I came in on the end of 4, so it took me 3.5 beats to figure out the chord and come in at the right moment, and I figured it out to be a 2 dominant chord, meaning A7 in the key of G. How did that happen? Well, I simply heard, that the bass went up, like from which is do, to re, so do, re. So listen to his bass line and see if you can hear that. And then, how did I know it was a dominant chord? Well, I know it's a bluesy song. I know it's a fairly it's not up tempo, but it's medium up tempo, like a snappy little tune, So it's probably not going to be minor, because that would be a little dark. And maybe he played the major third too in his bass line. I don't know, but in that moment, I knew it was an A7. I hope it was an A7. So let's listen to that again. So I don't think he played the major third. I didn't hear the major third of the A chord, but even so, it seemed like the appropriate choice. And then from there, it's like a little bit formulaic. It's got to be like A minor, D7, back to G, because it's like a 2-5-1. This is also knowledge of music theory and a lot of other tunes helps as well. It's not just your ear. Like I said, I was going to give more tips and tricks. These are the same changes as sort of like Take the A Train by Duke Ellington, not in this key, but it would be like like the same chord pattern. Sorry, my singing, but it's the same overall formula. When you know enough, like T-Bone Walker, I always thought of him as a blues guy, but early blues stemmed from the jazz tradition, and so when you know enough jazz standards, they're all just like variations on the same type of formulaic harmonic motion, if you will. So it's not just relying on your ear. And then here's the other thing too. It's funny, the singer's face is frozen right now in a funny way. But here's the other thing. When someone calls a tune on the bandstand, and granted, the stakes are fairly high. When you're doing like a wedding like this was, like you can't just wing, take chances on something that is very difficult. If something was difficult, then he would have probably either A, told me to watch out for something, like let's say he would say the bridge goes to the flat 6 or something, to give me to watch out for. And he did not do that in this case. So I knew the tune must be fairly harmonically straightforward, which it is. Secondly, you could also have like a chord chart. If it was something very tricky, then you would make a chord chart and put it in front of your fellow musicians if it's something you needed them to play on the fly without a rehearsal. So anyway, let's keep listening. Right there is 1-6-2-5. It's like a formulaic turnaround. That was 8 bars of the tune right there, and so I played G, E7, A7, D7. It's called a 1-6-2-5 in the key, meaning except that each chord is dominant because it provides forward motion, and it's a little brighter sounding than the normal diatonic way, which would be G, E minor, A minor, D7. Also, it tells me that this song is probably going to be an AABA song form without even having heard the rest of it, because that was 8 neat little bars, and it's probably going to repeat right now, and therefore I know that it's going to be like that we just played the A section. Now we're going to play it again. Then there's going to be a different section called the B section, and then the A. So I can relate to. Again, these are common song forms, all right? So let's play the next A. Okay, now right now I don't know what's coming, so I got to listen for where the bridge is going to. I have no clue at this point. Okay, now right there, he sang the flat 7 to the key. Now the tonic is and I heard So you have to hear that. So I know that the chord at this moment is like either a G7 or like even more likely a D minor 7 going to G7. Again, these things are formulaic, and so we're probably going to the 4 chord. Like D minor 7 to G7 is a 2-5 setting up to go to the 4 chord of the key of G, which is C, and that's exactly what happens here. There's the C right there. So can you really glean all that just from one note? And yes, you can, and you do. So it's a combination of ear training and music theory. Listen to that again. Again, it seems like it took me a second, but in retrospect, I should have known it would go down to the 2 chord, because we're on the take the A train type of tip, and it's the same bridge. You go from the 4 chord to a 2 dominant, so it's the exact same chord changes. But it took me a beat or two to get it. Let's just watch that again. The transition from the 4 chord to the 2 chord. Wait, hang on. And that's a 2-5-1 getting back in. So, and then that's it. And then I think I did a solo here. And after this A. And then he cues me for the solo, that nice look that he gave me. I didn't look like I was even looking at him, but I guess I saw it out of the corner of my eye, or I just knew that it was going to be time for a solo. And then to remember the chord changes that happened, it's just because it's formulaic, so it was easy to solo over. So I'm not saying that solo is going to win any Grammys or anything, but it's pretty straightforward. It follows the changes. We might not play the whole song here. I'm gonna see if there's any other teaching moments, and then I'll wrap it up. Notice one other thing. This is a little off the topic, but notice I gave chord punctuations because there's no other chordal instrument. So when you're doing it in a trio setting, you kind of have to play rhythm and lead at the same time whenever possible. So here we go. I also gave a clear ending that I was finished for the singer to come back in. Notice that I didn't solo right up to the end of the form. I stopped like a bar early. So let's just watch that again. he had at least four. He had one bar to become alerted that I was finished with my solo and that it was time for him to come back in. And then I don't think might not be much else to talk about except maybe the ending. So we're within a minute of the ending, so let's just watch. I don't remember.
But when you put down your puncher, what can I do? I'm falling for you. Look me in the eye and tell me mean it. Make me believe it. I have to run home, but I hate.
So right there is a common ending, like dun, 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 or dun, 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 like you're going to the sixth chord. Like the target is the E7, so like you could do G, F sharp, F, E, or maybe G, C, F, E, or G. Anyway, it's you're going down chromatically to the E7. You just hear that. It's a common turnaround.
Oh my, I hate myself for getting this way when I knew I'd change someday. So baby, don't you tell me no lies.
He cued the endings very well, so you have to be ready on your feet to handle cues, you know, at any moment. And then there you go. Look me in the eye. So I hope this helps. You can learn to train your ear. Many students come, prospective students and current students, they say they want to learn to train their ear, and the ones who sign up for GuitarLessonsIthaca.com, I show them how it's really not that hard. It's just a step-by-step process. You have to learn the 12 intervals, and then you have to practice transcribing, and the process gets easier and easier. You know, I can be in a supermarket and hear a song, if it's not too complicated. I'm not talking about, you know, Rachmaninoff or maybe, you know, Dream Theater or something like that. But, you know, you can hear a song in the radio and then just like know how to play it. Maybe I don't know exactly what key it is. I don't have perfect pitch, but I do know the A note, and so I can hum an A to myself and then get the pitch from there. But that's a whole other story. I'm talking about relative pitch, like you can hear the numbers. There's only 12 numbers. Think about that. People try and learn notes and riffs, and they spend time learning all this tablature and figuring out all these complicated songs, but their musicianship is not in place, and it's not like that much. It's a lot more work to learn like a complicated tab and memorize it than to build your musicianship skills that last for a lifetime. Because think about it, there's only 12 notes. Whatever you hear, unless you're listening to, you know, Turkish music or Indian music or something, there's only 12 notes. So you can learn the sound of those, and you can learn to hear in numbers, and then to translate that to your instrument, you can learn how the numbers relate to each other on different portions of the instrument, the fretboard in the case of the guitar, and then execute what you hear, whether it's hearing it, someone else play it, or hearing it in your imagination if you're a composer or an improviser. So if you want to learn more, go to GuitarLessonsIthaca.com, click the little button that says Tell Us More About You. And my name is Dennis. I look forward to seeing if a free trial is appropriate for you. And if it is, then I look forward to meeting you. Take care.